We want to welcome the delegation from Marsabit County Executive. The committee has spent quite some time with the Office of the Auditor General, the EACC, the National Treasury, the Control of Budget, the Parliamentary Budget Office to review the report and to flag the issues that are still outstanding. We, however, did not start our meeting with a prayer, as is customary. And at this juncture, I want to ask the senator from Nairobi. Is it from Nairobi or for Nairobi? Not from Bungoma. It's the senator from Nairobi, Senator Sifuna, to lead us in prayer.
Thank you, Chair. Let's pray. Almighty God, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor and blessings as your servants whom we've been pleased to call to leadership positions in this republic. We seek guidance to treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen.
Thank you, Senator Sifuna. We will do a round of introductions very quick. Senators present, please go on record for the benefit of the delegation.
Very much honorable Chair. My name is John Melo. I'm a senator from Nyarwa and a member of this committee.
Thank you, Chair. Governor, my name is Edwin Sifuna, Senator Nairobi, and a member of this committee.
Thank you, Chair. This is Senator Mandataya Mofaya, Tharaka County, a member of this committee.
Good afternoon. My name is Mohamed Seif, Senator from Marsabit, Chair, National Cohesion Committee, and a friend of this committee.
You're welcome. My name is Moses Ochino, Senator from Homabay County and the chair of this committee. Clerks, because of time, lead clerk, just go on record on behalf of all your...
Good afternoon. My name is Jojo Ochino, committee clerk.
Fine. Is supported by a big battalion, and because of time, we'll proceed to the other stakeholders. OAG.
Good afternoon, Chair. My name is Patrick Muriki. I'm the liaison officer of this committee. Chair, we have a team from Isiolo, who are also sitting in Isiolo, but who are also responsible for auditing 4 counties, that is Marsabit, Isiolo, Laikipia, and Samburu. But they're here for Marsabit. I request them to introduce themselves.
Okay, proceed.
We had some Office of the Auditor General.
Basha Konyango, Director of Audit, Office of the Auditor General.
Philip from the same office. Thank you.
Thank you. Control of Budget.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Nancy ND, attached to this committee from the Office of the Controller of Budget.
From the National Treasury.
Thank you, Chair. I am Dr. Cyrus Minyo, a liaison officer attached to this committee from the National Treasury.
From the EACC.
Thank you, Chair. Honorable members, Patrick Inoti representing the EACC. Thank you.
You are welcome. We invited the Governor of Marsabit County. Governor, please go on record.
Thank you, Chairman. My name is Mohammed Ali, Governor for Marsabit County.
I will allow your delegation to go on record, just your name and what you do in Marsabit.
Thank you, Chairman. My name is Alan Kanano, CEC member for Finance and Economic Planning.
Good afternoon. Dabas Bunaya, Chief Finance Officer.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ambaro Abdullah Ali, the CC for Education, Senior Officer Sport Marsabit County.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Amina Chala, CC for Lands, Energy, Urban and Housing Development, of course, County of Marsabit.
Good afternoon. I'm Borutua, Chief Officer, Finance, Marsabit County.
Good afternoon. My name is Simon Sibile, Director Internal Audit.
Francis Kariuki Kamendi, Director Supply Chain Management.
Hussein Robo, Director Company Services.
Good afternoon. I am Gagalo Doyal, Director Human Resource Management and Development.
I'm Godfrey Godana, Principal Administrative Secretary.
I'm Sam Wako, Accountant, Marsabit County.
Galalo Ganale, Secretary, Public Service Board, Marsabit County.
Safia Abduba, Deputy Director Supply Chain Management.
Abali Adi, Chief Officer for Education, County Government of Marsabit.
Charles Gidu, Deputy Director of Courts.
Kole Chasa, Economic Advisor.
Good afternoon. My name is Flavia Gekone, the County Attorney of Marsabit.
That's it for the delegation? Okay, we also welcome the members of the fourth estate who are present and who are our partners in this. Members, we did not do the adoption of agenda. Could I get a proposer?
Honorable Chair, propose.
Thank you, Senator Mofaya.
Honorable Chair, second.
Thank you, Senator Methu. We will proceed to the administration of oath. The Governor Marsabit will be guided by the Clerk of the Senate.
I, Muhammad Ali, do solemnly swear that the evidence that I shall give before this committee in respect of the matters before the committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Next will be your tabling of your written responses and supporting annexures.
Mr. Chairman, I hereby table the following documents before the committee. Management responses and accompanying annexures for the County Executive of Marsabit for the financial year 2020-2021.
Auditor General, could you confirm that you have been able to review the annexures which should have been circulated way in advance?
Chair, we have been able to review the annexures.
Are you comfortable to prosecute?
I'm comfortable to prosecute, Chair.
Back of the Senate, was there compliance in terms of submission of documentation?
Yes, Chair, I do confirm that the documents were submitted within the timelines that you had set.
Okay. If that is the case, then we will go very directly to the report of the Auditor General. Looking at the time, at exactly 2:30, this session must terminate because we have a sitting this afternoon and the Speaker will not allow us to continue with a meeting when he's in the chamber. So we will go to the report of the Auditor General on Marsabit County Executive for the financial year 2020-2021. We held a meeting on Thursday, 28th of March 2024 at the KICC, where we attempted to go through this report of the Auditor General. The meeting terminated after reviewing only 2 issues. And I'm also looking at the minutes of that previous meeting, where the committee raised concern on the adverse opinion for Marsabit County. The committee noted that the adverse opinion will require extensive time to verify the documents. The committee resolved to refer Mr. Ibrahim Shale, the officer who prepared the financial statements, to ISPAC for preparing financial statements and adverse opinion. The committee directed the county to ensure they submit relevant and certified documents to the OAG, and the committee resolved to defer consideration of the report to allow the auditors to fully verify supporting documents. And auditor confirmed that this time round the county has responded in good time.
Yes, Chair.
If that is the case, we will not revisit the issues that we have made a resolution on, so we shall go straight to the report of the Auditor General. So, Auditor General, the first, we have already looked at the report extensively, and the issues that we have agreed on as having been resolved, but the issues that we have said the county executive must demonstrate a resolution. So the first one, the variance between cash book and financial statements. I think this one, Auditor General, you demonstrated to us that you are satisfied with the resolution.
Yes, Chair.
On the second issue on undisclosed balance and unsupported expenditure of COVID-19 funds, you had also indicated that the supporting documentation is satisfactory.
Yes, Chair.
On unsupported accounts payable balance, there was the issue of retention monies owed to contractors, and the supporting documents have not been provided.
Chair, these were subsequently provided.
Now, I think just to, because you said there's something that we needed to probe into, can we demonstrate how this matter has been resolved? Unsupported accounts payables balance. Because it's one thing for the auditor to say it's resolved, but we also have a duty as a Senate to go into the basis of the resolution. So, auditor, just read your thing there. We get the governor's response and we see the supporting schedules.
Thank you, Chair. Paragraph 2.0 on the basis for adverse opinion and supported accounts payables balance. The statement of assets and liabilities, and as disclosed in note 23 to the financial statements, reflects 53,437,096 shillings in respect to accounts payables, being retention monies owed to contractors as of 30th June 2021. However, supporting documents for the balances were not provided. Consequently, the accuracy, completeness, and validity of the balance of Kenya shillings 53,437,096 shillings as of 30th June 2021 could not be confirmed. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, what was your explanation?
Thank you, Chair. The response is that the supporting documents for the accounts payable schedule of the ledger is provided for your reference, Mr. Chairman, at appendix number 2.
Just to take us to the page, because Okay, just again, Governor.
Mr. Chairman, I said the supporting documents for the accounts payable schedule or the ledger is provided for at appendix number 2.
Governor, when you are reading your response, because you can see we are jumping some issues.
Yes.
Please refer us to the page you are reading from.
Okay,
so
page 2. Page 2.
That's on volume 1?
Volume 1.
Okay.
Yeah, page 2.
Page 284. Appendix 2 on page 284 of volume 1.
So, Auditor General, you said that having analyzed that schedule, it justifies the 53 million disclosed as accounts payables in the financial statements.
Yes, Chair.
Now, still accounts payable. The financial statements do not seem to provide details on other pending accounts payable. And Auditor General, I didn't see that query anywhere in the entire report. If you look at other important disclosures, the pending accounts payable, is there an annex that breaks that down? Annex 2 is blank. Because this is where we see the pending bills. And in this financial statement, that disclosure was not made. And I'm surprised the Auditor General did not flag that. What would you have to say about that? The entire report does not have anything around the pending bills. The financial statement has not disclosed, has not done an analysis of pending accounts payable, even though you have queried the retention. But retention is a very small percentage of accounts payable. So in this report, where are we able to see the pending bills for Marsabit in that financial year? Governor, in your financial statement, can you point us to where we can see the pending bills for that financial year?
Mr. Chairman, I can see that the pending bills list has not been attached here.
So is it true that your pending bills for that financial year was just 364 million?
I can't with certainty tell you, Mr. Chairman, that it was that much, because I didn't check or counter check on that item.
I think the finance people should, because the reason why I'm picking that figure is that if that were true, then it would be the lowest pending bill balance we have seen.
But, Mr. Chairman, I doubt from experience what we've been struggling with to clear the pending bills. It has never been that low.
Because that's the disclosure here. 364 is 3% of your budget. That would be the lowest pending bill balance in any county.
For 360, I heard you said 64. If it's 364, it could be, because it was around, it's been ranging between 1 billion and something like that.
Which of your technical officers is able to give us that? Because members, we have been looking at pending bills of billions in counties. Now, here there is minimal disclosure. On page 50, you have broken down construction of buildings, pending bill of 99, construction of civil works 92, supply of goods 149, supply of services 22, total 364 million. Auditor General, is it your view that this is representative of the accounts payable in the entity for that period?
Yeah, I can see that we are dealing with accounts for the year ended 30th June 2021, and the 364 million was balanced as at the beginning of the financial year. So I can see that in the year 2021, they did not reflect any pending bills.
Oh yeah, now I see. So Governor, as per your report, you had 0 pending bills in that financial year. Because the 364 I'm talking about is at the end of 2019-2020.
I will ask Chairman CC for Finance to clarify that matter.
Thank you, Chair. I think what the auditor said is right. The figures we have there are balances brought forward for 2019-2020. And as His Excellency said previously, it's like we did not do the computation for the movement.
Can you move your mic closer?
Yes, the figures there are balances brought forward from the previous financial year. And in our computation, Mr. Chair, we did not do the movement for that year. Additions and what was paid during the year, I think there's an omission on our part.
I think it's an omission from both ends, your part and the OAG. This is such a significant omission that should have caught your attention, that the entity did not disclose their pending bills. In fact, I hope the retention is for the current year. The retention is for the current year.
Yes, Chair.
Yeah, but I think that is a matter that should have caught the attention of the Office of the Auditor General.
Can I find out where are you now currently, Governor? You might not remember the figure in 2020-2021. What is your current pending bills?
Mr. Chairman, we can furnish a clear position of the pending bills, but during the last engagement we had with the Assembly, it was coming to about 1.2 billion.
Okay. I think, honorable members, this is the reason why at our last meeting we made a resolution that the persons who prepared the financial statements must go through certain professional sanctions. Because an omission of pending bills is such a material omission, especially when you've already been given templates for reporting by the Public Sector Accounting and Standards Board. So I think we will not revisit our past resolution, but we are now seeing the reasons why Marsabit an adverse opinion and the reason why there are certain professional sanctions that must be taken on the officers responsible for these financial statements. Now, if we move to the next matter on overstatement of the financial statements, perhaps a symptom of the same problem. Here we were satisfied the resolution. Senator Jule.
I wanted to ask the governor. There is this issue of pending bills, which is 53 million. This is not pending bills, it's retention money. And this retention money belongs to contractors. It's not government money. Do they have that money on that particular date?
Governor?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, we have the monies, and of course, as it's due, this money is getting paid to the contractors. But yes, this is a matter which gets attention from time to time.
So the retention account for that particular purpose?
Yeah,
very well.
We have.
I think maybe, Auditor, one of the better places to have looked at would have been the balances in the retention account to confirm whether that money is there, rather than just a schedule. Was that tested?
Yes, Chair.
We
examined the ledger, which is here in Appendix 2.
Is the ledger the same as a certification of bank balances? Because the question by Senator Methu, is there a retention account? Is that a standalone account?
Yes. We have a standalone account.
So, Auditor General, do you test the balances in that retention account? Because it's easy to get a ledger, and yet the money is not there. We have seen those cases.
Chair, I can maybe refer the committee to note 20 to the financial statement with the balances in all the accounts. Then you will refer to balance in the cooperative bank account where the retention money is.
Yes, when they report balances, your duty is to ask for certified statements, certificates. So that's what we are asking. Did you see a certification of the account? It's either yes or no.
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
And so you can confirm that the monies that have been listed in this ledger are in the account?
It is accurate.
Okay.
Chair, does he have that statement, copy that statement from the bank?
Auditor General?
Okay, the same as we don't have it at the moment, but it is in our audit management system, in our working papers.
You had a bank certificate?
Yes.
Not just a bank statement?
I can guarantee that.
Okay. Let's move to issue number 3.0. And Senator Onyonka, you had not gone on record. Please do so.
Thank you, Chair. I just had to take a short brief. My name is Richard Onyonka, Senator of Kisii County and a member of this committee. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Auditor General, overstatement of financial statements.
Thank you, Chair. Paragraph 3.0, overstatement of the financial statements. The statement of receipts and payments, and as disclosed in Note 11 of the financial statements, reflects 2,551,779,547 shillings in respect of compensation of employees. However, recomputation of the financial statements amounts using IFMI's chart of account codes relating to compensation of employees total to 2,459,789,378 shillings, resulting to a variance of 91,990,169 shillings. Consequently, the compensation of employees' expenditure is overstated by 91,990,169 shillings, contrary to paragraph 1.3.27c of Cash Basis IPSAS 2017, which prescribes that financial statements shall present information that is a faithful representation of the cash receipts, cash payments, and cash balances of the entity, and the other information disclosed in the financial statements in that it is complete, neutral, and free from material error. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, what's your response?
Mr. Chairman, the difference of Kenya shillings 91,990,169 990,169 between the reported balance of Kenya shillings 2,551,779,547 and Kenya shillings 2,459,789,378 pulled from IFMIS charts of accounts by audit is directly attributable to three categories of expenditure on compensation of employees that had been budgeted for under development vote as shown here under. 1. Stipends for Marsabit County interns, Kenya shillings 60,769,000. 2. Cash or wages for solid waste collectors, 16,200,000. Finally, salaries and wages for vocational training instructors, Kenya shillings 15,021,169. And for the audit to arrive at the reported balance, they require to run both the recurrent and development vote, Mr. Chairman.
Why are stipends, wages, and salaries in the development vote?
Mr. Chairman, in Marsabit, we have, during budgeting period, we have ward allocations. And for these allocations, normally through public participation, we allocate to every ward some amount of money. And what the people decide that they want or they wish to be undertaken by the government is budgeted under ward development. So the county assembly, in its wisdom, voted these accounts under development as they came from the public participation.
Just take the case of county interns and explain how that fits into the description you have given. The 60 million for county interns.
Yes.
How does that fit into the development budget?
Mr. Chairman, it doesn't fit. Actually, this is a problem that has been carried forward. We have had challenges in getting access to these funds from COB. This is a matter which we discussed, we discovered is an error, and that county assembly is also notified that we must not again do this kind of budgeting during our process of budget making.
Dr. Munywa, how do you charge stipends for interns and wages and salaries on development? You are the National Treasury who provides guidelines. Because to me, this is a case of...
Yes, we don't have
So it's not here?
It's not here, but we can access it online.
Now, that does not address the matter, because when you say that they were budgeted for, then your responsibility is to bring to us that budget.
Correct.
So that we see how wages and salaries were budgeted for under the development vote. Senator Fatuma Dulo?
Chair, I just want to know whether the same is happening currently, because this happened in 2021.
No, Mr. Chairman, we have now corrected since we've discovered this error. And as I said, we ran into trouble even with the COB, they flagged, and we appreciated that error, and the same has been corrected.
Excuse me, Chair.
Senator Onyonka?
I would like, Chair, for the OAG to tell us what their opinion is on this matter. Other than, and what were the recommendations that you've made?
And maybe to tie it up, if you allow me, Chair, confirm that what the governor has said is the current status would be what you have found in your most recent audit.
Thank you, Chair. First, to confirm what the governor said, currently we are keen to ensure that they don't charge the current expenditures on development account. Then coming back to this one, actually the audit query was on the variance between the two figures, and they were able to demonstrate that this 91 million was under development vote, class 1, which we were able to confirm. But now, as regards our conclusion, we leave it to the committee now to determine the conclusion on the issue.
OAG, do you have visibility on the county interns who are paid 60 million? Because you must test that. If they say they paid interns 60 million from the development vote, then they must demonstrate to you that this is a schedule of interns that were paid 60 million. This is a schedule of vocational training center instructors who are paid 15 million. It cannot end at this explanation because there's nothing, no schedule to support that expenditure. We have moved away from the legality. First, we have already established that it was unlawful to charge salaries on the development vote. Now, in mitigation, are we sure that these salaries and wages and stipends were paid? Can you give us that assurance?
Yes, they were paid. There was also an issue about the same, if you look at paragraph number 7, touching especially on the same.
So on this, where is that evidence that 60 million was paid to county interns as stipends? Governor.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. Actually, there is a standalone query on
No, leave that alone.
Yeah.
We are here. We are still here on your response.
On this one, because that evidence was not specifically asked, we've not attached here. But in the same audit, there is a standalone query on the authenticity of the interns, and under that query, we have all the names of the people who benefited.
Does it add up to 60.7 million?
It does. It does, Mr. Chairman.
60.7 million.
Correct.
Casual wages for solid waste collectors, 16.2 million.
Yes.
Is that addressed anywhere else in this audit report?
Is that? No. This one we just answered straight the questions.
Salaries for vocational training center instructors, 15 million.
We don't have details. We don't have details, but can be provided.
So, Auditor General, you are the ones to give us an assurance. Do you have a view that 15 million and 16 million was paid? Because you've said the 60 million, we are going to deal with it in another query.
Yeah, Chair, I would also refer you to Appendix 7. Appendix 7.
Of the?
Switch volume. This Appendix 7. Oh, that one is for the unsupported stipends For interns.
For interns, yeah, we said we'll deal with it when we get to it.
Okay.
Solid waste collectors. Remember, OAG, it's the executive to prove.
Yes.
So if they've not proven, just tell us you do not have it. Then we put them to task.
Yeah, we don't have that.
So for the 16.2 million and for the 15 million, we do not have anything before us to justify that expenditure. Auditor General, just confirm that before I get back to the executive.
Chair, we don't have that.
Okay, Governor, how do we know that this money was not pocketed and that it went to solid waste collectors and VTC instructors?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think I seek your indulgence. If given time, we can provide it even tomorrow morning. We have it readily. We only stated and straight away answered the questions as it came. We fell short of providing that evidence. But under the interns, you know, there's another question which was asking us to provide the details.
Yeah, leave that one alone. That one we'll deal with.
Even this, I can assure you, Mr. Chairman, if you allow us, we can provide tomorrow morning.
Auditor General, we will, perhaps we might, with a lot of hesitancy, allow the governor to provide the details for the 16.2 and 15 million, because as things stand, that 31 million Kenya shillings cannot be justified. But it does not take away the unlawfulness of the charge on development by salaries, wages, and stipends. So when we'll be doing our report, you will advise us whether that accountability has been done, because at this point in time, we have no visibility over 31 million with respect to compensation of employees. We proceed then to the county revenue issues. I think the first thing was under reporting of receipts. Auditor General, what is your view on this finding? 4.1. You had raised an unexplained variance of 1.4 million. So this is 1.4 out of an 8 billion budget. So let's be fast on this.
Paragraph 4.1, county own generated receipts.
No, question is, because of time, it's already one.
Yes.
Is this variance of 1.4 still unexplained?
Can you respond to that?
From your perspective.
It's explained.
Governor, can you show us where that has been explained? Because we need to see a schedule.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, it's at Appendix 4.1, page 287.
Okay, explain that to us.
Yeah, I will ask Director Dabaso to explain that.
Thank you, Chair. The amount in question relate to collection by Marsabit Referral Hospital. The collections were done on 2nd of July, 2021. The receiver of revenue was vanished with this by the hospital. However, the collections do not relate to the financial year under review. That is why the accountant reconciled and used the right amount. So the collection of amounting to 1.4 million does not relate to the financial year under review.
So why in your response then does it point out through you, Chair, the correction that was now made? Because yes, we can see that this 1.4 million was for the year now 2021-2022. So is there anything in your response that shows this correction was made?
Thank you. The reference is there is a difference between what the receiver of revenue gave the auditors and what the director accounting used as reporting figure. We were reconciling the two. The receiver of revenue included the collection on 2nd in his reports. Director accounting reviewed and noted the collections do not relate to the year under review. Thank you.
It does not explain how then you treated the 1.4 million.
The 1.4
It explains the problem, but
the 1.4 million belongs to 21-22.
There's evidence that
yes, definitely it has been reported. And
no, don't say definitely. It's
yes, maybe I think it has not been provided here.
No,
but that can be.
It is not. I think.
Yes.
It's either provided or not provided.
Not provided here.
Very well.
Thank you.
Auditor General, what's your take?
We were satisfied with the explanation, Chair.
Okay, we will then leave it at that and scrutinize whatever has been presented and make our recommendations accordingly. Unaccounted for land rates. This one, in our review, we raised a few issues, so please read your finding. Yeah, read the finding.
Paragraph 4.2, unaccounted for land rates. Included in the county only generated receipts totaling 107,446,569 shillings is amount of 3,514,647 shillings in respect to land transaction charges. However, records maintained by the Lands Office revealed that 9 registers used in the collection and recording of land rates were not updated and the rates payable were not indicated. Consequently, the accuracy and completeness of revenue due from land rates for the year ended 30th June 2021 would not be confirmed. Thank you, Chair.
Through you, Chair. Oh.
Yeah, let the Governor respond first.
The Chairman, Marsabit County uses 9 land registers to record collection of land rates. These registers are updated when the payments are made. The management has reviewed the aforementioned registers and noted that all registers are updated as required. For clarity, Mr. Chairman, you can refer to Appendix 4.2 on the attached updated sample land registers.
Senator Nyonka?
Governor, what does the law say about the maintenance of registers? My understanding is that it should be only one, so that when you finish with it and then you go to the next one. What was the reason why the county has kept the 9 land registers?
Mr. Chairman, for ease of management, because the county is vast, as you know, we categorized or we zoned the county into some areas for ease of management. But for details on the legal part of it and what exactly happens, I have the CEC responsible for that department who can explain further, Mr. Chairman.
Before the CEC explains, Senator Chirarke, go on record.
Thank you, Chair. My apologies. I was in State House and then another committee meeting. Governor, it's good to see you. This is Chirarke Kiprotich, Senator from Nandi, but the Senator of the Republic of Kenya, and the Vice Chairperson of this committee. Good to see you again. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Welcome back to the legislature. CEC, please, whoever had been asked by the governor to shed light, because I am also having the same question on my mind. Why 9 registers?
Thank you, Chair. Why we have 9 registers in Marsabit is because we mostly dwell on the zones as they are categorized. And of course, this includes the areas under our municipality and those outside Marsabit municipality, which includes the towns of Nodor and Laisamis. So that's basically why we have these 9 registers.
How does this relate with your valuation role?
Thank you, Chair. We have not undertaken valuation role as a county, but we intend to do that in the coming year.
What are the challenges? Because it's 10 years since the advent of devolution.
Funding, of course, but we've since worked around it, and we want to ensure that by next financial year, this is catered for.
Senator Chirarke?
Yeah, maybe with the issue of land rates and also revenue, Governor, is maybe you can update. I know it might have come up in other questions. That at the moment, do you have a register, evaluation role that is complete, and register of assets and liability that is complete, or is it still with the Intergovernmental Relations Technical Committee? Because it will assist you in collecting most of your rates and boosting on your own source revenue. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Governor Zavala, allowed me to answer. Like I said earlier, of course, we know what valuation role plays a critical role in. And we are looking forward to having this role so that we are able to, ensure that these revenues in terms of rates are collected. And even those that currently are not ideally done will be catered for once we have this valuation role done.
Chair, maybe just before you allow to the indulgence, I thought you need to have a complete asset register.
We
to
do.
Allow you to value. You have a complete one.
We do, yeah.
Then why don't you have valuation role, Governor? Have you allocated resources through the budget to ensure valuation is done so that you know in line with your revenue potential? Thank you, Chair.
We have, Mr. Chairman, in fact, under this current budget, we have considered that matter and ensured that that is provided for.
Senator Dulo?
What is your estimated cost for updating the evaluation role?
Our estimate stands at around 5 million for starters. So 5 million is.
So how can that be a budgetary challenge?
It's still...
Well, you will see in the next paragraphs how much you are spending on success cards. So how can 5 million be a problem for the valuation role?
Chair, Governor.
Yes.
Your team should be giving responses that make sense and that are complete.
Yeah.
When you use the word or the phrase for starters, that tells me you don't know how much that valuation role is going to cost.
Yeah.
We have seen other counties come and tell us the valuation role will cost 100 million, but we are going to spread the 100 million over 3 financial years. So in this year's budget, you can see item number this, I've budgeted for 30 million. That is the sort of quality of presentation we expect from you, Governor.
I get you, Mr. Chairman. I agree with you. The issue in the Department of Lands, we've looked at it wholesome. The nitty-gritties of the role and the rest might not be at our fingertips, Mr. Chairman. But what I can assure the committee is something I have personally discussed with the finance team, and we have assured in this current budget we're working on. Going forward, we shall be providing adequate resources.
So how much have you provided for in this budget you're working on currently?
Do I remember offhand? Collectively for not only for the role we are talking about, Mr. Chairman, but with other components, and we even have our technical people even to have to employ this kind of thing. We have provided a figure of about 30 million.
Have you done your spatial planning?
It's ongoing, Mr. Chairman.
For at what budget?
100 million.
100 million?
Yeah.
The spatial plans have been delivered much earlier because it's a comment under the County Government Act. I think we must make recommendations that you need to optimize your own source revenue, because if the conversation that is going on in Nairobi about 1 man, 1 shilling goes through, you are going to lose this money that you are getting through. Well, Senator Cherargei just come from State House, and that's where
that conversation is not happening in Nairobi. It is happening in Murang'a.
Yeah, no, I believe it's happening in State House, which is located in Nairobi. But let me illustrate.
From Mount Kenya,
it's not happening in
through
State House.
Senator Medu.
It's happening in Murang'a. Yes.
And in the Chair, I support Madam Dulo. Madam Dulo, you see, we told you about BBI. You see?
Chair,
order members.
Rule them out of order as your principal assistant. Rule out them out
You are
of
all
order.
completely out of order. Because Senator Cherargei has not told us what we are discussing at State House. And that could have been that could have been part of it.
I can brief you later
But
in Canada.
Governor, you are only collecting 100 million. If there was to be something to disrupt the financial flows from equitable share, you will not even be able to pay salary. So that is why we are making an emphasis that you must find a way of growing your own source revenue. In this year under review, there was a drop. There was a drop in OSR from the prior year. So when we come to 2021, 2022, we'll be dealing with the receiver of revenue report. And we take a lot of time to go through the systems, the processes, and procedures in on-source revenue management, because we can see that we are still running things manually. Even on issues of rates, you have given us very manual registers, which then create centers of power, which again perpetuates corruption in county governments. We need to be efficient, we need to be automated. So, Auditor, you can confirm that these registers have been updated as you had cited?
Yes, Chair. We saw the updated registers, but not the valuation roll.
Yeah, the valuation roll, obviously they haven't done it, so they must make plans for that. Let's go to the uncollected market stall rents. Again, on-source revenue matters. We had a problem here. Without reading the issue, Governor, the Auditor General reports that there was a moratorium that excluded SACU sub-county markets from rent. That sounds like a waiver. Isn't that a waiver?
It's actually in the management response.
What
They call it a waiver.
What is the procedure for granting a waiver? Because it cannot be a roadside declaration. In the PFM, there are certain steps that you must go through. Can you confirm and demonstrate that that waiver was lawful?
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. Indeed, that waiver took place, and that was the period when the country faced the COVID-19 outbreak. Businesses came to a standstill. There were no operations in the county. So, Mr. Chairman, on humanitarian ground, we felt that we should waive for 6 months collection of these rates, simply on humanitarian ground. But as you rightly observed, the right procedure will have been the CC concerned should have followed up and done the gazettement and followed due process. Unfortunately, that has not been done, and for various reasons that time, Mr. Chairman, we had many issues. People were not moving freely.
Who specifically communicated the waiver? Was it the governor through some billboard? Was it the CC?
No, Mr. Chairman, I made the pronouncements.
So it was a roadside declaration by the governor?
I made the pronouncements. Unfortunately, it was not followed by what was required to be done.
Okay, guilty as charged. Senator Methu?
Chair. I want to know if this then was on humanitarian grounds and for humanitarian issues. Is this then the only market in Marsabit? Because COVID was biting every part of Marsabit and every part of Kenya. So I imagine that this waiver should have been to traders, not specific traders of a certain market. What became of the other markets, and why were they not enjoying this kind of a waiver?
Senator Onyonka, you can write on that.
Yes, I wanted to ask the governor, if you go to Annex number 4B, 4.3, Chair. You have receipt number 373. Go to the next page, there is a receipt number 374. If you look at the last paragraph, it says, and Chair, I'm trying to interpret what the governor has said, the reason why the pronunciation was made, and what I've just seen in the report that his office has tabled. It says, the department guarantees structural owners of protection of their interests, while on their part, the owners will support construction of the new market by voluntarily bringing down the existing old structures to the market. Was this the core reason why you decided to give them the waiver, or this was as a result an eventual event that took place, or were the two mixed? Because I purely see this as a matter of trying to negotiate to achieve a certain purpose. And yet you are not giving that as an answer.
In fact, Chair, just let me write on that, please.
Okay, proceed.
Governor, this is why it is always important to stick to your documents and don't introduce oral explanations for things that you can read from the documents, because I can see this is an agreement between the county government and the market traders themselves. There's an explanation there at page 375, which you should just read, and the matter will be over. Yeah.
Honorable Chair, maybe Chair, so that I just provide more information to Senator Sifuna. This agreement is dated 13th of June 2015, and the issue that we are dealing with is a 2020-2021 matter. The stamping of this particular, if it is appendix 4.3 uncorrected market stores rent, that agreement has been signed on the last page. You see the stamp is of 13th June 2015.
That is a certification.
That's a certification of.
What's the value of this document? First of all, what does this document have to do with the query? This agreement.
Because Chairman, thank you very much, and I want to sincerely thank Senator Onyuka for bringing that out. I skipped reading Senator Sifuna because the chair, in his wisdom, has asked us to save time and go to explanation. But the point is, both issues were true. This was an agreement with the stall's owners where the county wanted to put up a modern market. So we negotiated for them to be able to give up that space. The agreement is very clear that for a certain period, we will have excused them from charging the normal levies that normally charge. But then came also the COVID-19 pandemic. So these are two main issues, coupled with the agreement that we already had, then plus that disaster. That is why there was that waiver.
Chair.
Senator Cherokee?
Thank you.
And make contributions, remembering that the governor has already owned to making a declaration on waiver without following the due process.
But he has not answered why he gave a waiver on just one market, not all the other markets in Marsabit.
Mr. Chairman,
Order, Governor, you answer that.
So, Chair, just noted, and I'm happy that at least today the bundle is well organized. Governor, we always read everything that you provide, and we are very keen.
Okay.
I have read your response, appendix 4.3, and I want to follow what Senator Nyandarua said. Governor, what authority gave you the power to give an exemption? Is there in Marsabit County Assembly has passed any law, or which authority? Because I think if we had given the OAG any legal authority to say, for example, and we agree that COVID was an exception to the entire, is there legal, now that you made public pronouncement, is there a law that has been passed by Garissa County, sorry, I've been in Garissa, Marsabit County Assembly, that gives you authority to give waivers? Because we know they must. Number two, what is the status of this market, considering, Governor, this agreement was done in 13 June 2015. So what is the status of the market? And out of note, Governor, through the chair, it was specific. It says cushion the 72 structure owners against laws incurred as a result of demolishing old structure by allowing them a rental grace period of 24 months upon allocations of new stores. So it means after, when you answer, if the circle market is complete, it means you will give them 2 years for non-payment of the rates. Which law is there? Because this matter, again, the OAG will flag in the subsequent financial years because you have given them a grace of 24 months. Can you just clarify on that? Thank you, Chair.
Okay, I think let those be the last interventions on this, because the facts have been established, the law was broken, so it's just for the governor to speak litigation.
Yeah, thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, the legal provision are sought by Senator Cherargei. The PFM Act allows the CEC for finance, when necessary, some waivers he can give. And that is why I said, and I owned, after I made the pronouncement, the CEC for finance should have followed the right procedure to ensure that it is binding. On the status, Mr. Chairman, the market has now been completed. It is functional and operational, and issues of non-collection or something like that does not arise anymore. Thank you.
Okay.
He does not answer my question for that time, Mr. Chairman.
Sorry.
Why Saku and not
Why
others?
Saku and not the other market?
For Saku specifically, because it was being constructed there, modern market was being constructed at Saku.
Then that invalidates your other.
I'm coming to it. I'm coming to it. So that's why specifically that agreement is for Saku. We were doing a modern market at Saku. But for the pronouncement and the waiver, which I said I did because of the disaster that we faced, was not limited to SACCO, it was for the whole county and all business.
I think members, let us make our recommendations appropriately. We are concerned about governors using waivers for political capital. Whenever you're driving through Kiambu into Nairobi, there are huge billboards which are costing much more than even the amounts that they expect to collect as waivers. So it's not a matter that the Senate wants to look at casually. We shall make our recommendations appropriately. We then go to issue number 5 on payment of casual wages. Auditor, this is a matter that we had referred to earlier. So these are casuals engaged in waste collection in Saku sub-county. And Senator Methu will be asking why Saku again. So, Auditor General, have you been able to get supporting documentation on casual wages?
Yes, Chair, we got supporting documents on 157 casuals that were there for 7 months.
Governor, could you explain to us why these records were not provided to the Auditor General at the time of audit, if indeed they existed?
Mr. Chairman, duly authorized payment vouchers and other supporting documents for the transactions on casuals engaged in collection of waste in Saku sub-county is attached for your review at appendix number 5.
So could you go to page 384?
Yeah, Chair, before we go there, I wanted to ask the governor if he has got contractors that particular type, contractors doing waste management during the period 2020-2021.
Okay, was waste management or waste collection subcontracted?
Mr. Chairman, at that time, we did not subcontract, but because of the problems we encountered with these casuals, we since terminated those services, and now we have a fully engaged contractor doing that task, Mr. Chairman.
So on page 384, what are you demonstrating?
I'll ask Director Labaso to explain that.
Thank you, Chair. On page 384, this is just a voucher that is closing the voucher that starts on page 377, just a closing paper.
So what is its value? Here, because it's blank. It has no authorization, it has no entry. Is this a state of management of payment vouchers in Marsabit County? Dr. Munyo, I want you to look at, are you seeing a voucher on page 384? We have seen this systemic weakness in counties, I think in Isiolo. We saw many cases where payment vouchers were unsigned or sometimes just approved by one person and not the necessary control. So I'll put it to you again. Is this page 384 meant to be before the Senate for some purpose? And if yes, what is the purpose?
Chair, so that we are able to put together. The document that I have is very different from what you're speaking about. Because if it is a voucher of 1.3, mine has been signed.
That's page what?
384.
I have page 384. A voucher of the same amount unsigned. Being payment of SAC waste collectors for the month of April 2021. As per attached memo and list.
I get the difference.
And then
the one that is signed is at 377 of the same amount, and this one that you're referring to at 384 is not signed.
At 384?
384 is not signed. Then there's one at 377 that is signed for the same amount.
There's 385. They were raising 1.3 million on a monthly basis, it would appear. Is that the case?
Is it for the same
Yes, Chair.
So there'll be 7 of them?
Yes, Chair.
Yeah? But my question is, why did you bring this page 384 to the Senate? Is it a reflection of your payment voucher and payment processing systems?
Chair. But Chair, I can see it is for the month of May 2021, both of them, both of those two documents.
Can you compare your 384?
377 and 384.
Yes,
Do you have this?
Yes.
384.
Yes. Confirm it's the same month.
No, when I see a payment voucher.
Mr. Chairman, that could just have been a filing error because we have a proper voucher for the same month.
You see, when let me tell you the reason why I brought this up.
No.
When you see,
Before chair, you
when
just
you
let
see
them
these blank
off.
payment vouchers.
The one for April is blank, actually.
And if these records were not provided to the Auditor General during the audit, this is symptomatic of cooking of records.
Mr. Chairman,
This is
Mr. Chairman.
This I have seen in 46 other counties, because the question was, if these records were available at the time of audit, why were they not provided? And then when you go through, you find payment vouchers that are blank. So it tells you that some team sat somewhere and started cooking records to satisfy the Senate and to satisfy the Auditor General.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The error is clearly noted and apologized, but I want to put it before this committee and you, Mr. Chair, that the people we are talking about are verifiable people who have provided that service for several months. And I am talking to you under oath. This is a proper expenditure, Mr. Chairman.
So, Governor, you are saying we struck out the document, or what are you apologizing for?
The page, the voucher which was not signed, as cited by.
So we strike out because it's not signed. So that it does not-
I would not go for striking it out.
Yes.
I would go for us scrutinizing. And when we are writing our report, we'll be able to see the state of affairs when it comes to payment processing. Remember, members, we have a matter coming up on interest management, where there are no warrants, there is no surrender after expenditure, there is just claim for interest. And I know that Kinoti and EACC may have done a corruption risk assessment. If they did it with the same rigor as they did for Isiolo, then these are some of the issues that will be coming up in the corruption risk assessment. So these blank records will stay here, and we will review them when we are writing our report, because we'll also comment on the overall state of financial records in Marsabit. Members, the next issue is on expenditure on basic salaries, the payment of ECD teachers, 131 ECD teachers. Auditor General, are you now, has that expenditure now been accounted for?
Chair, this has been accounted for.
So it's
Are the ECD teachers now in the main payroll, or they are still being paid manually, Governor?
Mr. Chairman, the ECD teachers were paid via manual payroll due to lack of personal numbers. However, the county government of Marsabit has since managed to request and obtain approval of personal numbers for all the 131 ECD teachers, and successfully integrated them into the Integrated Personnel and Payroll Database, IPPD system. And for your reference, Appendix 6 on the list of ECD teachers with personal file numbers will provide these details, Mr. Chairman.
Honorable members, because of time, I think let's just ask the Auditor General for confirmation. Auditor General.
Chair, confirm. We verified Appendix 6 and we are satisfied with it.
Apologies, honorable members, we must move. Unsupported stipends for interns. Again, we had dealt with this in the earlier issue. The thing we asked the Auditor General whether he had seen was budgetary allocation. Governor, was there a budget for these interns?
Mr. Chairman, there was sufficient budget for the interns.
Where is it? Where can we see it? Because that is a question of the Auditor General. He has invoked Regulation 119.2.
As I explained earlier, Mr. Chairman, it was a budgetary allocation and award development.
Where is that budgetary allocation?
As I said earlier, Mr. Chairman, we did not have the hard copy of the budget with us.
But on this question, it was quite obvious what the Auditor General was querying. When he made reference to Regulation 119, it was respect to budgetary allocation for personnel costs.
What was question was the people, the beneficiaries for which we provided, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Secretary Chute?
Yeah, I also wanted to know, we have 60 million here. That was diverted from development money to salaries. So initially, I want to ask the governor, initially, where did you get the budget from? There must be a budget that you've allocated for salaries and all payments for both ECD teachers and other employees.
Let me just read this.
Governor?
Mr. Chairman, maybe for clarity purposes, first of all, let me read to you what we have put down here. The payments related to stipends for interns engaged under Marsabit Youth County Service Program. The interns were competitively recruited by the County Public Service Board as per the criteria set out in the advert and were deployed countywide based on the need analysis. Attached, please find the indents, adverts for the recruitment, long list, short list, and list of successful interns and sample of appointment letters from every sub-county as provided for your review under Appendix 7. Mr. Chairman.
You have addressed everything with the exception of the budget.
Yes. I was coming to that, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I was saying this budget was arrived at following public participation throughout the 20 wards. Mr.
Where is that budget? Because you need to say that when we are looking at it.
Mr. Chairman, as I said earlier, I don't have the hard copy here. We have a soft copy which we can refer even right now, Mr. Chairman.
Auditor General, were you able to see a budget for this? Remember, Treasury has already told us that having a budget for stipends under development is irregular, and that might lead to the conclusion that Senator Chute has, that this was a diversion of development funds. I think in the absence of a budget, an original budget approved through that process you're talking about, we have no option but to arrive at the same conclusion as Senator Chute. Auditor General, did you see the budget?
Chair, we only saw these documents, but not the budget.
Because 60 million is not money you wake up and commit without a budget. Governor, how long will it take you to provide that budget to the OAG?
Tomorrow morning, Mr. Chairman, it's a question of making a telephone call to provide one copy as required.
No, it is not the Auditor General to call. It is for you to provide.
I said I.
Yeah.
I.
So provide that information to the Auditor General if it does exist. Auditor General, then you'll advise us when we are writing our report. But on the face of it, this looks like a discretionary expenditure or an expenditure that did not comply with the budget responsibility principles that are stated in the FM.
But Chair, perhaps to advise the OAG, I don't think you can go through an audit process without looking at an entity's budget. That is a serious oversight on your part, because that is a very serious source document that you are comparing with all the other documents that are provided. So make it a point to always have sight of the budget so that you can see what is going on in the entity.
We always do, except during this verification, because we didn't expressly raise the budget in our report.
No, Meshach. We have discussed this. And I referred you to Regulation 192, which you have cited, which provides the budgetary allocation for personnel costs. The question here was budget first, and then procedure next. Yes. So we had already agreed that this one you did not insist on the right document. Yes, so do not reopen that debate. Okay. So without visibility of the budget, this matter remains unresolved because that was a query by the Auditor General. Issue number 8, unsupported expenditure on use of goods and services. On the first issue, 3.4 million paid to officers and participants as per diems. Auditor General, were the supporting documents provided? 8.1, yeah.
Yeah, the supporting documents were provided, Chair. These are in Appendix 8.1.
8.2, you indicated dissatisfaction. Can you read it?
8.2. On the paragraph of unsupported expenditure on use of goods and services, similarly, the amount includes 42,670,531 shillings in respect to training expenses, which further includes 10,346,700 shillings paid to members of staff as allowances. However, the county executive paid the allowances to staff to attend and facilitate official duties away from their duty stations instead of advancing them with interest in accordance with Section 93(3) of the Public Finance Management Regulations that states that temporary interest shall be issued mainly in respect of official journeys and are intended to provide officers with funds which they can meet traveling, accommodation, and incidental expenses. Further, supporting documents for the expenditure were not provided. Consequently, the validity and value for money for the expenditure of 10,346,700 shillings for the year ended 30th June 2021 could not be confirmed. Thank you, Chair.
Governor.
Chairman, the county officials applied for their interest to undertake authorized activities, but due to funding challenges, their requests were not facilitated on time. The officers sought and obtained approval for reimbursement of the costs incurred during the implementation of the official activities. The supporting documents for the expenditure in question are attached for your review. The expenses related to the costs incurred during public participation forums for development of financial year 2021-2022 CFSP, CPROP, and social protection policy stakeholder engagement meetings, evidenced at Appendix 8 from 1 2, Mr. Chairman.
Auditor General, what was your point of dissent?
Our point of reference here was that there was no explanation on failure to use IMPRES system in accordance with the PFM Act and regulations. All expenses were just claims, direct payments based on FO 20, and none was appearing in the interest. So that was our position.
So what? So you expect them to comply with the PFM on interest management?
Yes, yeah.
Where there is a request, there is a warrant,
yes,
there is expenditure,
yes,
and there is surrender.
Yes.
And this issue of lack of funds, because sometimes they say we didn't have funds to give, but there still has to be an interest initiation, must be a warrant. You don't just come and say, now I've paid, isn't it?
Yes, yes, Chair.
Maybe we hear from the expert treasury, then we come to Senator Onyonka.
Thank you, Chair. Well, in the circumstances that there are no sufficient funds to cater for the officers traveling, we advise that the officers fill the required interest warrant registers, and then that will help the officers on return to claim, to show that they actually initiated the process as required by the PFM Act.
So, so those explanations cannot excuse them for lack of warrants and surrenders.
Yes.
Senator Onyonka.
I was just asking the OAG in your report, how many amongst this team surrendered back?
Technically, there was no surrender.
Yeah,
it was more or less a claim.
It was just a claim
of
10.3 million.
Yes.
So it means the employees who are funding.
When OAG, when somebody does that within the PFM Act, what is the chair, help me. What is the consequence of the non-claim on the non-surrender of interest which has been picked?
Okay, sorry.
Maybe as I think through, you can go on, Senator Meth.
Maybe, Governor, in your response, you say that the county officials applied for their interest. Is there any evidence in your bundle of documents that proves that they applied for this particular interest? Is there a document that you can take us to? Because in the 8.2, it is post-application.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. First of all, for the surrender, as was observed, there was nothing literally to surrender because it's a claim these officers made. But as to the question by the Senator now on any evidence, if we go to page 612, you will see a sample of the evidence of the impress.
You see, we would want to see impress warrants totaling to 10.3, because this one is only 1,887,000.
We have not attached for all, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, so there is a clear abuse of the imprest process in Marsabit, and I must bring to your attention that I have received information through the office of the clerk. It is still unverified, and there is someone who has picked this particular audit issue and cited that this 10.3 million that was claimed as imprest was for activities that had already been funded by an NGO. Now, that claim is unverified, but I'm bringing it to your attention. We are not going to debate it, because until it is verified, then we cannot subject it to a conversation. But to bring to your attention that we have received information from members of the public that this abuse of the imprest system sometimes is used to cover up or to make additional claims on activities that have already been catered for by NGOs and other development partners. It is a matter that we'll be asking our partners at EACC to look into so that they can be able to verify those allegations. Honorable members, anything else on imprest? Yeah, so Governor, do not comment on the unverified claims. I was just bringing it to your notice. But until they are verified, that is when we'll be asking you to respond.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for that guidance. I seek your indulgence, Mr. Chairman. I indicated the activities which were being undertaken, Mr. Chairman, 2021, 2022, CFSP, CPROP, and social protection policy, Mr. Chairman. So just for you to note what we were doing, because there are tendencies that some of these statements might be selectively taken and out of context, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much.
Fine, let us proceed. I think we have seen some of the weaknesses in imprest management. The next one is on procurement of assorted sports item. Auditor General, were you able to get the records that you needed?
Chair, we got the records and we were satisfied.
The fourth one was 16 million in respect to fuel consumed by various departments, but there was no supporting documentation. Was that provided?
Chair, this was provided. It's contained in Appendix 8.
Now, we must be extremely careful with the implications of what we are doing. At this point, the Senate and the Auditor General are looking at the supporting documentation to the claims. But there's the other aspect of authenticity of the records. We do not have the capacity to establish whether the documents that are being provided 2 years later are authentic. That still falls within the domain of the investigative agencies, EACC. So it should not go on record that because the Senate has now seen records, fuel registers, work tickets, that now there is no further matter to be pursued. There are still issues of confirmation, authenticity of the records. I think, Auditor General, unless you can tell us with authority that the fuel registers that you saw and the work tickets are beyond reproach, and that you have checked their authenticity, and that ESC or any other body should not interfere in this matter. Measure.
No, Chair, we cannot confirm that because we just found it satisfactory, but whether it's authentic, it's genuine, we cannot confirm that, Chair.
I think that's important because you provide reasonable assurance. And what does reasonable assurance mean?
Reasonable assurance means that it's not an assurance that something is 100% correct, but it's a probability of a 50-50 balance, that it can be given the benefit of doubt.
Okay, I think that's extremely important to put on record. So issue number 5 was insurance costs. There was a 55 million for comprehensive medical cover for 43 staff. Governor, the only thing that is missing here is evidence of cover of 1,681 staff.
Mr. Chairman, the county comprehensive medical cover was designed to cover for 493 staffs who were on job group L and above. The remaining 1,681 lower cadre staffs were covered under NHIF Comprehensive National Scheme cover for civil servants. For details, Mr. Chairman, you may refer to appendix number 8, Roman 5.
Auditor General, were you able to see evidence that the 1,681 were covered? And were you able to see the schedule and the related premiums?
Chair, we saw details of the procurements and supporting documents for the procurements, but not the schedule of this cover.
Do you have, Governor, could you point us to the evidence to support your assertion that the 1,600 were covered under a different scheme?
Mr. Chairman, it is through payrolls for the lower cadre.
What do you mean through payrolls? Help us understand.
This is a provision by NHIF, the normal insurance for civil servant under that category, Mr. Chairman.
Who pays the premium?
There is no separate premium to pay. From job group L and below, they are normally covered by NHIF, so long as you are an employee of government.
So there's nothing specific to Marsabit County Executive?
Yes. This is a universal provision.
Do you have anything with regards to that that clarifies how that cover works in the files before us?
Yeah, it is at page 165, Mr. Chairman. 1165, sorry.
1165.
1165 of volume 2.
Staff medical insurance. Okay, so Auditor General, do you agree that this is not the kind of cover that is specific to an entity, but it is universal?
Yes, although we didn't get to see it, but it's a universal cover for civil servants.
Where the entity does not pay any premium? Does the civil servant pay premium from payroll? So it is a benefit to civil servants.
Chair, if you look at the page, it's limited. For employees, job group K and below, it's unlimited, but L and above, there are limitations.
Okay, as long as there was no expenditure by the county on the 1,681 staff, and as long as those employees had the benefits that they deserve while in the work environment, I think then we should not take too much time on this. Let's go to this purchase of success cards. Again, we'll move very efficiently because the Auditor General has already updated us. Governor, could you tell us where you got the authority to spend 3.6 million on success cards? And could you show us a sample of that success card, if you have something in the file?
Mr. Chairman, the procurement documents and list of beneficiary schools relating to supply and delivery of the success cards to schools within the county are provided for your review at appendix number 9.
Where did you get the authority to spend 3 million on success cards?
Mr. Chairman, I seek your indulgence here. Because performance in Marsabit County was wanting, we wanted to motivate these pupils.
No problem, Governor. When I say authority, it means budget.
Budget?
Yes. Was there a budget, an approved budget? Because if you can demonstrate that, it ticks the first query. So where was the
Yes, we had the budget, Mr. Chairman. We had proper support for such kind of activities. misaligned budget.
Where can we see it?
As I said earlier, we've not attached our budget again, but we have it, Mr. Chairman.
So the people of Marsabit sat somewhere under public participation and said that let's spend 3 million to send success cards to our children.
No, they didn't say that, Mr. Chairman.
Because budget must go through public participation.
It's a provision for what is called institutional support, Mr. Chairman. Such issues which are not very clear and which in the discretion of the executive is necessary, which might have been an oversight, then we have a provision in the budget. That is where we draw that budgetary provision.
What was the image of the success card?
Sorry? There was no image. I know maybe you would think the governor's portrait or something like that. Nothing of the sort.
Do you have a sample somewhere?
I don't have it here, but it can be provided.
Senator Wanyonka?
Thank you, Chair. The question I wanted to raise, Governor, with you is, and you have not answered the question. If we look at your county, what would have improved performance for the students whom you want to do well in school? Is it for them to be bought? Because we have seen governors who buy backpacks, all right? Some of them buy t-shirts for these kids.
Mathematical sets?
Yes, mathematical sets. And yet in reality, where these kids are going to school, we don't even have desks. So I find it very difficult to defend you on this matter. And yet, if you had spent this money to even build 2 classrooms for ECD, for me, I would have been clapping for you.
They needed some 5 million to kick off the evaluation role.
Yeah, but Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. We bought the cars and the sets, as you are saying, but not only the cars, Mr. Chairman. Marsabit County has had one of the most robust scholarship programs to motivate the performance in the county. Mr. Chairman, you can't imagine the number of very poor, bright students who have benefited from that scholarship program, Mr. Chairman. So it's not only the success cards. We do much more than that. The construction of ECD classrooms. We have done very many ECD classrooms across the county, Mr. Chairman. The impression might be created that we only limited our support to the success. It's just but one of the items that we undertook.
For purposes of report writing and recommendation, please provide to the Auditor General the evidence that there was authorization through budget and public participation, and 2, a sample of the success card that was circulated for us to see whether this was not just another political ploy to get votes through people's innocent children, or whether it was a noble thing. So, opposed to the budget, which gives you the authority, and a sample of the success cards.
Yeah, it's a list of the schools.
And the list,
those, yes.
Has the list been provided here?
Is that provided?
Were they going to schools or to students?
I've seen a list of schools. I don't have a sample of a success card.
Mr. Chairman, the list is already provided.
But Governor, just to advise you, you're not talking to political leaders.
Yeah.
Yes, don't be coy. Just tell them the real situation on the ground. We expect that governors are the fathers of the county. So when children are going to have exams, you buy success cards. Don't, because we operate in a political environment.
Thank you.
I also face those pressures.
Mr. Sifuna, if you do that, order, Governor. Order.
Sifuna, be turned into a witness.
I can take oath.
Standing order.
I do not think if you are processing your comments through me, I will allow you to mislead the Governor. If you are to do success cards, use your personal resources.
I'm not misdirecting. I'm saying he is better off giving the true picture of the situation on the ground to this committee instead of lying or misrepresenting that there was an approval or nothing. We live in these counties, Governor. We know.
Chair, but you know he ruled Governor Song out of order because he was pretending he was planting grass using his money here in the city in the last session. And Chair, you are in back. So we are always worried when you just, it was important, Governor, maybe tell us what is the real situation on the ground. Do people, to the general of Marsabit want success cards to pass? If that is the reason, then and you are budgeted for it, so be it.
Mr. Chairman, we have stopped, as a matter of fact. This was our one-off assignment that we did, and we have stopped that. But we have a scholarship program which has now
so
been
the children no longer want motivation.
No, they want, but we discovered that we may not have the resources to every time do in terms of the requirement.
Governor, let's allow that matter to rest there, so that we get whatever we have requested for purposes of report writing and recommendation, because for me it's a question of prudence, prioritization, and responsibility in public financial management. The next one is quite significant, unsupported procurement of relief food. This is where we can spend a little bit more time. Auditor General, read your finding.
Thank you, Chair. Unsupported expenditure on purchase of success cards. Sorry. Paragraph 10.
Yes.
Unsupported procurement of relief food. Sorry, Chair. Unsupported procurement of relief food. The statement of receipts and payments, and as disclosed in Note 15 to the financial statements, reflects an amount of 1,549,598,660 shillings in respect to other grants and payments. Included in the amount is 39,961,230 shillings relating to emergency relief and refugee assistance, which consists of an expenditure of 19,575,000 shillings for purchase and supply of maize, beans, and cooking oil. However, supporting documents were not provided contrary to Regulation 101 of the Public Finance Management County Governments Regulation 2015, which states that all receipts and payments, vouchers of public monies, shall be properly supported with a pre-numbered receipt, and that payment vouchers shall be supported by the appropriate authority and documentation. Consequently, the validity and value for money for expenditure of 19,575,000 shillings for the year ended 2021 could not be confirmed. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, your response?
Mr. Chairman, the supporting documents for the supply and delivery of cereals, pulses, and miscellaneous foodstuffs are provided for your review at appendix number 10.
Governor, was this money drawn from the emergency fund?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Why?
Because we have a different provision for that, Mr. Chairman.
What is the rationale for having an emergency fund, which is obligatory under the PFM?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, the emergency fund is a provision for unforeseen real emergencies. Maybe disasters like what we had during COVID outbreak of diseases. Maybe when it rains too much.
Emergency and a disaster are two different things. It is called an emergency fund.
Yeah.
So why couldn't you do your emergency relief and refugee assistance from the emergency fund that you're required to establish by law?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, that the provision and the fund was not enough to be able to cater for what we wanted to do for the county at the time. And therefore, we had a provision, a line provision that we relied on.
And how did you budget for those emergencies?
It's under drought mitigation, Mr. Chairman.
So how were you able to estimate that this year I'm going to have emergencies worth X?
We can't be able to estimate. We only provide a small sum. Mr. Chairman, in northern counties, unlike the rest of the counties, every so often, rains fail, people starve, sometimes almost to death. The livestock that they have, like what we experienced during the other severe drought, perish. So since this is a known, clearly known problem, which is happening year in, year out, as the executive, we felt we need to provide for such kind of instances so that our people will not suffer, Mr. Chairman.
You see, when you ring-fence funds for emergencies, it helps you to avoid the long, protracted procurement procedures because you can always shorten them. But when you are drawing from your operational budget, you cannot excuse yourself that it was an emergency, so we went for direct procurement. So these houses, under what framework or what type of procurement arrangement were they obtained?
Mr. Chairman, I can ask the Director of Procurement to shed some light on that.
Director of Procurement, straight to the point.
Yes, Chairman, we use framework agreement to procure for relief food. Thank you.
What does that mean?
That means that we do open tender for the procurement of relief food. Then we shortlist bidders who the accounting officer will use mini competition or direct call-off when there is an urgent need.
Senator Chute, you have prosecuted this matter previously. Have you found a light at the end of the tunnel?
Thank you, Honorable Chairman. The problem we are facing in Marsabit and especially northern part of this country is misuse of emergency funds. In the law, it says it is unforeseen emergencies, unforeseen. You've not predicted, like the governor said, something like El Nino, something like locust, and all those things. But the problem we're having, Chair, is diversion of development money to relieve food supplies. So if you look at Marsabit today, and that is where we're going to discuss, I think, if time allows, on 1-0. We have about 4.5 billion shillings development money. Some of this has been converted to relief supplies. And, Chair, it is not always that northern part of Kenya has got drought. Sometimes we have enough rain, and sometimes, yes, we are being faced by drought, which is quite severe. But, Chair, let us go to, once we get to 1.0, then that is where I have a question to ask.
I think
Chair.
let's go straight to 1.0. It's important.
Yes.
The project implementation status report. And even as we go to 1.0 on issue number 11, unaccounted for motor vehicles, Auditor General, you now have the logbooks for the motor vehicles?
Yes, Chair, the response is satisfactory.
But there was use of direct procurement for one of the vehicles.
Yes, Chair.
What was the justification, Governor?
I'll again ask the Director of Procurement to shed some light on that.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, the one vehicle which was bought from the original equipment manufacturer, who is Toyota Kenya, was a vehicle which was bought for poor use, for remote areas, for project review. Thank you, Chairman.
Was it a vehicle that only Toyota could provide?
Yes, the specifications which I was given by...
What were the specifications?
The kind of terrain the vehicle was supposed to go could only be found in Toyota Kenya.
How did you establish that? What kind of vehicle was it? What were the specifications?
So, Chairman, the vehicle is a V8 VX.
Treasury, when you're doing procurement, do you go to that level of specificity? If I wanted to do a meeting at Nairobi Serena today, I cannot, my procurement team cannot, go and say that please bid for meeting facilities at Serena. It's a meeting venue of 50 people with food and PS system, and that's it. This specificity of saying V8, VX, which you know is only in Toyota, isn't this rigging?
Chair, some of those things you leave to the technical specification, but you cannot start by technical specifications.
Chair,
So,
can I ask?
Process.
Just let Dr. Munya finish and then you come in.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. The process of procurement does not require meet and greet. You leave them for the evaluation process.
Because there you're starting with an end in mind.
Yes, it's like you are doing both the financial and the technical evaluation even before you procure.
Senator Nga, is there anything else you want to say beyond procurement?
I was just asking the officer, what's your name again, sir? What does the law say about single sourcing?
Yeah, single sourcing has a number of conditions.
Yes.
One of the conditions is that if you can only get the equipment you are buying from the original equipment manufacturer, who in this case, after the approval of the accounting officer, that could only, the original equipment manufacturer of that unit was Toyota Kenya.
What if there's a circular which says the county government has to buy vehicles which are below 3,000 cc? Which one would you, as a procurement officer, abide by?
If there is a circular for 3,000 cc, I will go for the circular. But this one,
hold on.
I want to explain.
Don't explain. Are you aware that we have a circular like that?
I'm aware, but
because the impression I'm having, you are the people who are making the governor look like this. Are you aware that there's a circular which talks about how county governments and even national government, that vehicles have to be purchased, which actually are meant to be a certain CC because of the economy and other issues? You're aware of it, right?
I'm aware of the circular.
Stop right there. So to me, you broke the law.
No, Chairman, here I did not break the rule because we are not buying a vehicle for use for a certain
procurement officer. We have only 10 minutes to go. It is
Chair,
upon us to decide whether you broke the law or not,
Can I ask
and
him
then
one
the rest will be prosecuted in court. Senator
I
Sifuna.
want to know the specifications you say you received. Were they in writing or verbal?
They were in writing and it is approved.
So where is the document? We want to see if it's 8v8 on the instructions. Where is that document in your bundle here? Is it here?
It is there, Chairman. There's an approval from the Principal Administrative Secretary approving that direct procurement.
I'm asking the specifications you received from the user department. Was it in writing?
It was in writing and it can be provided, but I provided the approval.
It's not here.
Yes, Chairman.
I think, members, these are things we leave to EACC to deal with so that we go to project implementation status report, because those are procurement issues. You are either right or wrong. There is no gray area about procurement. So this EACC will figure out whether that direct procurement was collusion and tender rigging. On project implementation status report, Senator Chute, you had brought attention to this. There were 253 projects. The Auditor General was only able to verify nine projects prior to this meeting. And Senator Chute, we had asked you to, if there's a project that you feel we need to focus on, then we can put the question to the governor. There was a project listing that was circulated by Auditor General.
Chair, the list we have is very big. And what I requested you, I even requested earlier, is that the money that was budgeted for is 4.56 to 150, 638 billion. And here, what we have is 518 projects. Budget is about 1.65 billion, and 2.9 is not accounted for. And the list we have, Chair, is big. And I asked you earlier, I need the committee to visit Marsabit because we have a report from County Assembly that some projects were not completed or not even started but paid for. So I think the second issue, Chair, is 4.5 billion was meant for development. 2020-21. Okay? So out of this, whatever they've said that it has gone to development, that is what we want to see. I want the committee to see what has been done. To me, development is like 6% only. Yeah.
Governor, what was the actual expenditure on development in that year in terms of percentages?
Mr. Chairman, I can...
There's a budget, then there's the actual.
On the question before us, Mr. Chairman, I'll bring it out as follows. The project implementation and completion was delayed by security within the county and impact of COVID-19 pandemic during the financial year 2020-2021. Management confirms as follows. Number one, the project's worth Kenya shillings 564,983,835 reported as ongoing have since been completed and are in use. The project's worth Kenya shillings 9,410,886, which were reported as completed but not in use, are all currently in use. The projects worth Kenya shillings 54,656,806 that were initially reported as not started have since been completed, while Kenya shillings 180,191,344 were abandoned due to budgetary constraints, Mr. Chairman. Further, you may find an updated project program implementation status summary report reconciling variance noted in development budget for financial year 2020 and 2021 for your reference at Appendix OM1, Mr. Chairman.
Out of your schedule, the fish factory at Loyangalani, you have marked it as complete. Is it complete in use and value for money, Governor?
Mr. Chairman, this is a very painful experience, and I'll explain to you. That fish factory is one of our flagship projects that we initiated. It's one of the projects I promised the people of Loyangalani out of need, because we had, or we still have, a huge lake which is being underutilized. People were suffering. We wanted to solve their problem. We constructed that fish factory. It was completed. Only waiting, equipping, Mr. Chairman. Unfortunately, Mr. Chairman, the lake level rose to an unimaginable proportion. So it's something which I will invite even the committee to come and appreciate. A lot of disaster has been caused, not only the factory, even the establishments which have been there before, the fish officer office, equipment, a cold room, which was provided for and equipped by European Union, and many other assets, Mr. Chairman, was swallowed. Those are matters beyond our control. They were situated over a kilometer away from the lake. That is the situation in which we are, Mr. Chairman.
So when you say when you give us a report saying that it's complete without the benefit of that explanation, what are you trying to say?
Mr. Chairman, the completeness of you can still see even from even now, as much as it has drowned, you can see the level which up to gable is what has been swallowed, and you can see it has been roofed and everything.
I think what we need is a more accurate update rather than what you put here.
Yeah.
Anyone reading this without the benefit of that explanation will have a different conclusion.
Yeah.
Very quick
This is what I was warning the governor against. But governor, put these things in the response you bring to the Senate. That's what the chairman is telling you, that if you tell someone that approach is complete, and I'm sitting here in Nairobi reading the document, if we did not have the benefit of that explanation, really, we would not know that the factory is not in use and the reasons why it's not in use.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what has happened with the Rift Valley Lakes. Explain it, so that when I'm reading here, I should not ask my chair to take me to the factory there tomorrow, then I go and find something else.
I agree, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Senator Nyonka, Senator...
I just wanted to say, Chair, that we are friends of devolution. And I've been listening and watching, and I look at the officers. I think you're going to have to do something about their team and how they handle these matters. You don't have to come and tell us what is not true. If you say what is true, we are reasonable enough as a team to agree with you or disagree with you. I think that is the frustration Honorable Chute and many of your people go through, that even when a matter can be simply explained, you find that there's always an excuse as well, and it looks really funny. The only thing I would like to ask you as a last question is, are you comfortable if this committee can visit so that we come and audit some of the projects?
Senator Onyonka, on the last one, it is not at the invitation or pleasure of the governor. The committee shall definitely visit.
Yeah, I wanted to hear his answer so that I can conclude the way you did.
Mr. Chairman,
you preempted my answer. If he had said no, I would then have.
I'll be very happy.
Yeah, on fish factory in Loyongalai, Governor, this 34 million, was it made only for the construction of the building or plus equipment? Number one. And last one, is there a feasibility study that was done before the rising of lake? Did it happen during this rainy season, or is that happen over the years? Thank you, Chair.
Mr. Chairman, this happened not because of this rainy season, but I think it's a phenomenon that has happened all over, and it's really a disaster. But the bit about the feasibility study, Mr. Chairman, we had consultants who are commissioned properly, architects, quantity surveyors, engineers who are involved in this project, Mr. Chairman.
You are European?
No, this one was by the county government of Marsabit.
Okay. Yeah, maybe we need to see that consultancy report so that we understand their reason, because even in Naivasha, the lake is rising, and they should give us a reason why they put 1 kilometer from the lake. I agree, could be climate issue. You are a champion of climate action. Maybe you can also assist us.
Yeah, but from a PFM perspective, not climate perspective, 34 million was sunk in Lake Turkana.
Right.
Senator Chute, I want you to have a final word on this.
No, I just wanted to ask the governor, we are in this situation now, what are we going to do for the people of Loyangalani to make sure that they get the same factory or similar one completely far away from the lake?
Thank you very much.
That's important.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I am happy to report that we have had a discussion with the government of Netherlands. We have agreed, actually have signed an MOU whereby they are going to fund a program called Realizing Full Potential of Lake Turkana, a program that will cost to the tune of about 1.3 billion. That MOU has already been signed, and issues to do with fish is what we are concentrating on in that program, and God willing, very soon, this problem will be sorted out.
Honourable members, because of time, we have done very well on the financial statement issues, and I believe that we have interrogated almost every single matter is under the financial statements and that led to the adverse opinion. We are left with two parts of the report which will not be able to conclude because the Speaker is already making his way to chamber. But as we leave it, there is a report on lawfulness and effectiveness in use of public resources. And Auditor General, I want you just to read your conclusion under lawfulness and effectiveness. Just your conclusion.
Thank you, Chair. And report on lawfulness and effectiveness in use of public resources. Paragraph 1.0 was about non-preparation and submission of...
No. Your conclusion, not the basis.
Conclusion?
Yes.
Okay. As required by Article 2296 of the Constitution, because of the significance of the matters discussed in the basis for adverse opinion, basis for conclusion on lawfulness and effectiveness in use of public resources, and basis for conclusion on effectiveness of internal controls, risk management, and the governance section of my report, based on the procedures performed, I confirm that public resources have not been applied lawfully and in an effective manner.
Can you repeat that? I confirm?
I confirm that public resources have not been applied lawfully and in an effective way.
Members, that is the conclusion of the Auditor General, that public resources have not been applied lawfully and in an effective way. The basis for that conclusion, time will not allow us to consider. I will therefore give directions that because of the materiality of the issues raised there, ordinarily we would read responses. But where the Auditor General says that he confirms that public resources have not been applied lawfully and in an effective way, then the county executive must be held to account. I therefore want to propose, honourable members, that the lawfulness and effectiveness section and the controls and the controls, risk management and governance sections, we will defer the consideration so that at the next appointment, we merge that with the consideration for the financial year 2021-2022. So because of the severity of that conclusion, I do not think that it will be fair or wise for us to take written responses. We must still get submissions from the county executive, and so when we schedule the next appointment, it will be to deal with this section and then the substantive report for the financial year 2021-2022. We must bring this matter to a close. Senator Cherargei, 30 seconds.
Chair, yes, thank you, Chair. I want to thank the government, the governor, and all of us for availing ourselves. What I wanted to do is to call upon also to you, Chair, the fourth estate to be here so that we can walk through, and I'm happy they're here today, so that we go through what the governor presents, so that they don't report beforehand, because I remember the last time there was a report in some section of media that the materiality and the application of more than 8 billion concerning Marsabit County government. So I think media in future should be here so that they can also go through us. And I think this committee has done well. Where an accountability has not been made, we have always pronounced to that effect. So, Chair, I thank the fourth estate, but also they need to join us so that we go through it, so that they don't misrepresent facts outside there. I thank you, Chair.
Could we restrict our closing remarks to the issues that are before us? Senator?
Yes, Chair, I just wanted to reiterate what Honorable Cherargei said. I think, Chair, you have managed this exercise. I just wanted to advise the governor this way. Governor, please talk to the Auditor General. This is your last line of defense. Give them the documents on time. If you give people documents and you talk to them, you can not have the media announcing that you have actually misappropriated 8 billion shillings. And that is where we are, that we are very seized of these issues. For us, we have decided to go very professional. And I hope that next time when we come, Governor, we will have a report which is fair, which is just so that the people of your county can be happy that you're actually managing it. Thank you.
Okay, let's bring it to a close. And members, you do not need to be apologetic about anything that has happened in this committee, or even to apologize on behalf of anybody, including the media. This is a country of free speech, and the truth is what shall always set us free. Senator Sifuna, because I still have Senator Chute, the governor, for closing.
Yes, first of all, Governor, I must say that there's been a marked difference from your last appearance here. You've come a bit more better prepared. I have seen the manner in which you put the documentation together. It has been easy to follow conversations. And these are things that make life unnecessarily difficult for everybody involved in this particular process. I like the direction that the chair has given on the bit of lawfulness and effectiveness, because you have seen, Governor, that if we decide to just rely on the response you put here, you land into a lot of problems. I think it is always critical for you to have opportunity to explain things, and especially because your team is letting you down by not including critical information in the responses there. Finally, Governor, please cooperate with the Auditor General. All these problems we are talking about here and the last meeting, the last time you were here, is because according to the Auditor General, it was very difficult for them to get documents from your government. So if you are able to provide documents, I am sure Chair will say this, it is possible for you to get a clean audit in your county. Just cooperate. There is no need for you to only produce documents because you're going to appear before the Senate committee. Produce these documents, and I can assure you, Governor, that if you are able to explain away all of these things, and I'm sure when we come here, the basis of that conclusion on lawfulness, maybe there's a credible explanation. So we are looking forward to have these conversations, but please cooperate with the Office of the Auditor General, provide these documents in time, and we will not have the sort of problems that we've had in this committee. I thank you, Chair.
I will ask the Governor in closing, and then I'll have Senator Chute. Governor?
Chairman, thank you very much. I stand guided what the Honorable Committee has, in its wisdom, directed, and will comply by those directions. And I'm very grateful the committee has brought out some misleading reportings. Last time, Mr. Chairman, we were reflected in very bad light that we were unable to account for 8.2 billion. It was carried in some mainstream media, which is misreporting, and it's very unfortunate. The issues we have are no more audit reports which you have engaged, and I'm grateful for the way you've handled us honorably. We will abide by what you have directed, but I will request the media people to be responsible in their reporting. Thank you very much.
Senator Chute?
Thank you very much, Chair. Let me also use this opportunity to thank the Governor and his team for coming here today, prepared better than before. The last time he was here, he was not well prepared. And also, thank you, Chairman. I want to, you've said it well by saying that you're going to visit Marsabit. Thank you very much for that. But before you come there, what I'm going to do is I have some oversight money. And I've even asked the Governor before. I told the Governor there are some issues that people are raising on issues of development. And we are here to support devolution. You remember, Chair, we supported 415 billion for the counties, but it was rejected by the National Assembly. We are having a negotiation soon, and in that committee also, we are going to support you, Governor. We are going to support the county of Marsabit. And I want your intelligence that we go, you bring your team, I bring my team, oversight team, we go and visit the development projects. The ones that has problems, we can solve those problems together. We are not fighting, we are trying to help devolution. When you see a senator talking about development, he wants devolution to succeed. We want you governors to succeed. We are not fighting governors. Kindly, please, Governor, I even asked you before, I am asking you again before this committee and before the National Television, that provide your team. I will provide my oversight team. I will pay for the fuel, for the allowances, and everything, so that we finalize what is happening. We look at what is happening in Marsabit.
No, let's allow Senator Chute to let's allow him to finish and disturb. Order, Senator Chute. Complete.
So, Chair, after we've done so, then if you visit there, you will find the picture of what is happening in Marsabit. Thank you very much. I asked the people of Marsabit, go well. Thank you very much.
To the people
also, I have an office here. This is not my office, it's Marsabit County office. The Governor can visit and say to his people.
Members, just to conclude, because we can't go any further, to the Marsabit delegation, you have a senator who is passionate. He is passionate, and you need to have him score for your team, because when he's scoring against your team, you are in problems. He's passionate, and that can be seen in the number of statements and interventions he has sought on the floor of the House, and that's a job. That's a constitutional mandate, and it should not be seen as competition with the county executive. I believe that Senator Chute, being one of those who have been proposed to sit in the mediation committee for the division of revenue, Senator Chute, I believe that you are going to stand firm, and that you are not going to be intimidated by calls from any source for us to drop the position of the Senate, because that money is not going to Senator Chute. He's not going to manage that money. You're the one who's going to manage that money.
Excuse me, Chair. He's talking about State House.
I think he's hungry, so he's thinking about Order, senators. Allow the chair to conclude. So I think we must find a way of appreciating the role of the senator and taking advantage of the passion and the insights of the senator as a partner in issues of the county government. I am very happy that we have had a civil engagement, and those perceptions and fears that governors have, that when they come to the Senate, their senators are going to embarrass them. I can assure you that as long as I'm the chair and these honorable men and women in this committee, we shall carry out our proceedings in a dignified and respectful manner. Let us not accuse the press, as Chien said, because whatever the press reported is contained in the report of the Auditor General on the 2. Whatever the press reported is contained in the Hansard of the Senate. So let us not be uncomfortable when the media says what they say, which is supposed to be the truth. But generally, we want to put it out there that the Senate is carrying out its role as per the Constitution and as per the Public Audit Act. What we can do here is we cannot reverse the adverse opinion. We cannot. Even if you have justified everything, the adverse opinion remains. We cannot clear you of criminality. We cannot clear you of economic crimes. We can only take a report to the House. It is the ESC the DCI, and the other agencies that are mandated to carry out investigations that can clear you of criminality or economic crimes. This session today has not cleared anybody of criminality. This session today has not cleared anybody of economic crimes. This session today has had and listened to the mitigation of the governor from Marsabit, and I must say that today we are seeing more evidence as opposed to our first meeting. If we proceed this way, then I believe we'll be moving from diverse opinions, and at some point Marsabit will be in unqualified opinion territory. We look forward to that day. Thank you. The meeting is adjourned.